Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fangirl Zone. I am Sean, Fangirl S, and today I am talking to an awesome author that I had a chance to meet up at Motor City Con. I have Andrea DiGiglio.
Yes.
Okay, I said it right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
Okay, I was actually really interested in talking to you, and I'm really glad that we got to connect here because you had like several independent books, correct?
Yes, I have 4.
Okay. And I'm just like in awe when any author is actually able to get everything from their brain onto paper, because I joke around that I've had like 15 years or something. I'm trying to write a book and I had 10 pages written. So it's like amazes me that you can actually get those thoughts all in one coherent section and put it down. So tell us a little bit about your process first.
Well, I used to write screenplays, and it's mostly dialogue and a little bit of direction, which is, what I was accustomed to. And when I was pregnant, I wrote my last screenplay. I haven't written one since. My son's 4 now, and basically, when I wasn't allowed to film anymore because my ankle swelled too much, I love writing. It's just like, it's how I get whatever's stuck inside of me out. And so I started writing Finding Alice, my first book, and it just snowballed. And like, I was like, it's going to be a standalone. It's not going to be, it became a series, and I haven't been able to stop, and I haven't gone back to screenplays because it's just so much fun to paint the whole picture, to build a world and then be able to share it with people. So when I write, I have a routine. My kid is like, When I write, I have a routine. I have to have music playing, to distract me, and to kind of get myself out of my head. And then I just start writing a story. It usually starts from like a weird dream that I had, and my dreams are bizarre. And I'm usually running. And if it was real life, they would catch me because I don't have that much stamina. But and then I just start writing, and I just keep going until I have nothing left to give. And then I go back and I read it, and if it feels like it's a solid story, I go back through it, and I kind of do an outline and kind of try to come up with ideas on where the story can go. But the biggest thing that I do is that I take notes for an outline, but I don't write for an outline.
Okay.
I like to just sit at the computer and just write, and just pretend that I'm that character and I'm in her world, and what is she experiencing, and what is she feeling, or he, and just enjoy the ride. It's like a choose your own adventure book. Do you remember those?
Oh my God, I love those things. Those are my favorites.
It's when you're writing. It's like choose your own adventure, because you don't know what's going to happen, and if I go one way and I don't like it, then I can scrap it and go the other way. And okay. I mean, the readers don't get to see that, and that's probably for the best. But yeah, I think that I probably have 9 books partly started.
Wow.
And I'm a big believer that if you have an idea, that you should write it down, write as much as you can. And when you stop and you can't write, that's okay. And then, so I spend a lot of time bouncing back and forth between different books, the ones that are inspiring me at the time, and then go back to others, and I'll read through it and be like, oh, I really like this, and I'm going to do this with it. And I have to feel what I'm in, or I can't write.
It's kind of funny that you said that you have so many started, because I know a lot of people are like, no, I have to just do this one and get it all done and get it all out there. And I know it's not the same at all, but like I will read like 5 different books at one time, and people always ask how I can keep it straight. So when you're saying you're writing that many at one time, I kind of feel like it's a little bit similar. Like what each person is still doing in all the different stories. But it's just crazy having that many ideas, and I can't get the one.
Well, I think one of the things is one of the biggest things is that I'm bipolar. So I struggle with having depression and with having manic episodes. And I think in a crazy way, it's made me a better writer, because the way you feel is so intense You know, and that's also why a lot of my books have a very dark tone to them. You know, I have moments of joy and happiness and comedy and stuff, but like they're dark stories, and like, you know, like the old actual fairy tales, you know, like,
Okay.
you know, like Grimm tales, like that kind of feel, because that's what I feel like. That's how I feel. And they always say that, you know, write what you know. And so that's how it started, writing what I know. And I always say, write what you don't know. Just research it.
So
If you're like, I would love to write about outer space, and you know nothing about outer space, this is a really weird point to pick, but I didn't know where to go with it. But like, research outer space, and then like, and while you're researching, thinking about who your main character is and where they're going. Are they actually in space, or is it just leading up to the point where they go to space? And like, you find those little moments and you write down your notes, and then you built a story, and all you have to do is write now.
Okay.
Just got to let them talk and do what they're going to do.
That makes it sound so easy. And I don't, I don't know how you guys can really, you as writers, just kind of wrap your mind around something and go with it.
It was a lot easier before my son started walking. Like, they're always like, you have to baby-proof the house. You have to baby-proof the house, and then toddler-proof the house. And then it's, he has this obsession. I'm allowed to watch TV. I am allowed to read a book. But when my computer is open, he walks up and shuts it. I'm like,
he's like, no.
Mommy's trying to work.
So did you find it difficult going from screenplays to actual books?
A little bit. It was a little bit difficult because I wasn't really sure on the structure. But I really think it's important that people who decide to, you know, become an author or write stories in general should read as much as you can, because the information you get, the words that you learn, and the way that people tell stories, and you find the way that you, like, every author has their own little way of telling a story. You know, you can read something and you're like, oh, yep, that's them. That's Anne Rice. You know what I mean? Like, you just know. And every writer has their own voice. And I think that I just got totally distracted by my child looking at me. What were we talking about?
Screenplays to books, just the difficulty.
Thank you. Screenplays to books. I think that one of the things I struggled with when writing screenplays was that I wanted to give more description than was necessary. Like, I wanted to paint the whole scene, and they're just like, no, we just need to know, like, what room they're in.
Oh, it was just more generalized?
Yeah, it's more generalized. And because there's room for the director to direct the scene how he wants, and the actor to decide how their character is going to be. And in a book, like, you're telling a story, and the reader's coming into that world, and you have to show them everything. You have to show them all the nooks and crannies so they can be immersed in it, or else they're just kind of like, well, I mean, it was okay, but it didn't really hold me. Mm-hmm. You know, my favorite thing about reading is when I'm so lost in a book that I walk around my house with my book and like bash into walls because I'm not paying attention because I'm reading, and I'm like, hold on. They're like, it's time to eat dinner. I'm like, hold on, just let me finish the sentence, which is like, let me finish this chapter. And it's like 4 a.m. and you're like, go to sleep.
Yeah. My husband always laughs at me when I'm like, all right, I'm just going to read this chapter and then I'm going to bed. He's like, yeah. And I'll be so into a book, and he comes in, you know, it's like 4 hours later, right? I'm like, oh, crap, I gotta get up in like 2 hours.
Right. That's the best kind though.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a joke with my girlfriends and I, because we all are such avid readers that it's like, you'll never understand what I'm going through if you've not read the same book. You won't know why I'm just so depressed that a character just died.
Yes, I know. And you know what? I always get so mad when a character I love dies. And then when I started killing characters, I was like, oh my God, I'm them. I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm that person everybody's going to get mad at. And it's like, but as long as it's not pointless, right? You know, as long as it's a necessary evil, like it progresses the story, it changes the character's emotions, and you feel for them, and it makes you connect. So I get why people do that, but it's like, I agree with you completely. When I'm reading a book, like, I tell my girlfriend, you must read this book because I need someone to talk to, okay? Because this is not okay.
I had, it's funny because they both read a lot faster than I do. and I'm like behind, and then I'll just suddenly text them and be like, just tell me that so-and-so made it through this, as I'm crying. And it's like really hard, and it just kind of cracks me up. And just going back to, like Game of Thrones, everybody was talking about Red Wedding, and they're like, now you know why your friends were depressed like 10 years ago when they read the books.
Right.
So you finally have the connection. But let's talk a little bit about your book. So it's you have 4. It's the series, though.
3 is a series,
Okay.
and 1 is a standalone, and it's a completely different style than I usually do. We'll start with the series.
Sure.
It's the Alice Clark series. The order, because my brain is mush from having a baby. We did not put volume 1, volume 2, volume 3 on the covers of the books, but I did put them on the Amazon links, so it does say on the page, so they know. But it's Finding Alice is the first book. The second book is Alice's Sacrifice, and the third book is Alice's Insurrection.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the character and how it all developed?
I kept having this trippy, reoccurring dream where I was standing in like a battlefield, and I was hovering, and I looked around, and I had these ginormous charcoal wings, and I just had this feeling like what I was doing mattered, like what I needed to do mattered. And I woke up, and I was just so inspired to write. And one of my biggest things is when I write female characters is that they need to be strong and brave. And I don't compare to other books. Like, I've had people compare, like, well, is it compared to Twilight? And I don't do that, okay? Mm-hmm. I feel that girls and women who read my books need to have it be a strong female character. Like, I don't like whining and stuff. Like, she can cry, she can hurt, she can be in pain, but she needs to, like, be strong and, like, make it through it. And, like, she can have moments of weakness, but she has to prevail. And that was Alice's story through the whole series, is her finding herself, who she is, what she is, and her importance in life, and what she's going to do with that, and the point of what being human means, like being a human being, being humane, being kind, and fighting for those who can't. And I had a girlfriend who was quite surprised and a little concerned. She read that, Alice is being attacked by God's angels. And she's like, is this book against God? I'm just like, just read the book. That's insane. Why would I do that? Mm-hmm. But it's one of those questions on, like, am I good? Am I worthy? And from the standpoint of the rule book that we're given, there are things that you do that you're not supposed to, and we're human beings, we falter. So she struggles and she falters and she grows and she becomes strong, and she does what she needs to do throughout the series to protect her family above all. Her chosen family, not just her blood family, her chosen family. And she gets thrown through some hoops because Nephilims aren't supposed to exist.
Okay, so
they're an abomination, according. So it's a story about finding yourself and going for what you can become, like being the best version of yourself that you can become, and surviving against all odds. And even if you're going to fail, to continue to do what's right.
Okay.
And then it
sounds really deep too.
Fallen angels and God's angels, and everybody's trying to kill each other.
And now that's 3 books. Have you completed that arc, or is there more to come? I have completed the arc, but because I love them, I am currently working on a prequel. Okay. Which will be around the characters, Cole's, the main love interest, his parents and her parents, and how they met and fell in love, and how Alice and Cole came to be. Okay. And then your standalone book.
My standalone book is Ramblings from an Unusual Mind, a collection of words. The easiest way to describe it is that it's quotes, like inspirational quotes and inspirational images. All of the, someone said it was poetry, but like I feel weird calling it that. So I mean, but all of the interior images and all the quotes, everything in there is all original by me, and all of the writing was done during bipolar episodes.
Okay.
Like so, when I was having a bipolar swing and I was in a very hard depression, I journal to deal with it. And I decided that I would share some of those pieces so that people who suffer from depression or know somebody who does could understand. You know, people who suffer would know that they're not alone, and there's other people out there, and that it's okay. Like it's not fun, but you're okay. And the people who don't understand depression because they've never experienced it, that maybe they could get a glimpse of what it's like in the mind of someone who is. And I really want to be an advocate for mental health awareness.
Was it actually hard sharing that, since that was like all of really what was happening at the time?
When I was doing it, I was so driven by my want to reach out and help, if just one person, the way that I wish someone had done with me when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And it didn't occur to me until I hit the publish button, and then I flipped out. I was like, oh my God, what if they hate it? This is my personal, deepest, darkest thoughts that like, and that's out there. I can't take that back. Like, if someone doesn't like, I mean, what if everybody hates it or thinks that I shouldn't have done this? And I was very, very nervous about it. And I panicked, but I've been getting very good reviews, and people seem to be really happy with it. And I've even had people contact me on my website after reading the book, asking if I would correspond with them, you know, while they're trying to get out of their darkness, which is what I call it. I call it my darkness. So, you know, people who are struggling, trying to find help, I'm always willing to help as much as I can.
Well, that's actually something that is really impressive, and just the fact that you were able to share your own personal thoughts and feelings, and it wasn't a character, it was you, and you just kind of reaching out to other people in that situation. You know, I find that really admirable, because I think a lot of people probably wouldn't, you know, be willing to share what they're going through. But if you don't have somebody doing that, then you always have somebody coming up that doesn't understand. And so I think you're probably reaching a lot more people than you even realize, even if they're not, you know, corresponding with you, because there's so many people that don't understand, bipolar or just depression in general.
Absolutely.
So, kudos to you on that. And, maybe next time I talk to you, you'll become an advocate, and I will be seeing you on more of a national stage.
That would be amazing. I have 3 things that I would bleed for. That's probably the wrong thing to say with a depressed person. but I mean, I'm not actually going to do that. But is mental health awareness for people who suffer with depression, bipolar, DID, anything, any kind of mental health issue, because it's a struggle and it's an invisible illness. So people don't know that you're struggling unless you share, and it's really hard to do that. And my son is autistic, so I want the awareness of autism to just, I mean, it's starting to really blow up, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. But I think that people really need to be aware of how differently people who have autism think. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with them. They just, their brain works differently, just like mine does. Mine works differently. And how boring would it be if we were all the same? I mean, seriously.
Right. I mean,
we're all the same.
Never have art or anything.
We'd be like, no, just no. And lastly, of course, is the anti-bullying. I'm very strongly opinionated in bullying, especially now that the internet is just at everyone's fingertips, and it takes under a second to upload a video or a picture. And it's just, I think that if the whole world could just take a step outside of themselves for a moment and just realize that we're all people and we're all trying to live and just be nice to each other. I know it's hard because sometimes people are idiots and you just want to smack them, but don't. Just be like, okay, I don't know what they're going through, and walk away. But so those three things I feel very strongly about. And if I could get into something to help any of those issues, I would love to do that. On top of all of the things that I'm already trying to do, like finish some of these books.
Yeah, that's a lot going on. There's a lot on your plate, and I do totally wish you luck with that. I know only a little bit about the bullying, and that's only in regards to going to cons, and you see that, and that's, which I'm sure you've seen it at a lot of the cons you've gone to, that now the anti-bullying coalition is something that's really starting to come to light. Chase Masterson, who I had a chance to talk to, she became really passionate about it because just her going to the cons, seeing people who were coming in like cosplay, and all of a sudden, you have people like, oh, you shouldn't be dressed like that. And you see it a lot with cosplayers, unfortunately. And then I've just recently seen it, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget the name of it, which is probably for the best. It was a UK newspaper. I think it was kind of like one of the rags, had published a photo of a bunch of cosplayers and just were bashing them. And it's bad enough when you have it on the internet and at the cons, and, in person, you have people coming up and asking people, like, why are you dressed like that? You don't have the body type. It's like, really? But when you have it on a national stage like that, that's even worse. So, like I said, I unfortunately don't know much about autism, except, some of my friends, their children have it and they're advocates, and, they're kind of explaining it, and I know the spectrum's bigger than it had ever been previously, and they actually explain it more. It
was 1 in 168 kids when he was diagnosed at 1.5 that had it, and this year the new statistic is 1 in 55 kids have it. Yeah, and it terrifies me because, I remember high school, and I wish I couldn't, okay? People were mean, and I got picked on, and I was bullied, and you know what? And I became bipolar around when I was 14, and I started acting crazy, and then people left me alone. So I learned that being crazy, but people shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
And I worried when I was pregnant, like, about that sort of thing, because I was bullied in school, and I worry about my son being bullied because he's autistic and he's different. And I think that for me, it's like I have 4 books published. I have been in numerous award-winning films and done amazing work. I have a great family. I have a great life. I have worked my butt off to look the way I do. and I'm doing really well. And it's like, being bullied, yes, it can make you stronger. Should you have to experience it? No. But don't let it get to you either.
Is that ever something, or is that possibly one of the 9 books that you're kind of working on, or something that you considered, like, putting pen to paper about?
I haven't. I mostly do paranormal because I love the paranormal supernatural world. There's so many options, and it's just, I need to get away from reality. So I like to just be in something different. But I do have one that I'm working on where the main character is bipolar, and I am taking her to the extremes. And I have been debating on having her have a child that's autistic and bullying to be an issue, and having all of those core things that bother me in the one book. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that because I am an author and I'm writing the story, and I use things from my life like anybody does, but the instances that really, like, they're really like, oh my God, she just did that. Like, I don't want people to think that's me.
Okay.
Like, you know, I need, like, it's a work of fiction, and I don't know if I can pull those things together and have it come across the way that I want it to.
Yeah, I understand.
So it is something that I'm working on. It's just, I don't know how long it'll take me to get brave enough to do it.
So, going way back in our conversation, when you actually published your first book, now you were completely independent, correct?
Correct.
How long did it take you to actually, like, get up the nerve to publish it?
Well, there's a beauty in being a crazy person. Brave when you shouldn't be. From front to back, it took me about a year to write, edit, and publish. I have this weird thing that I'm okay until I hit the publish button. I don't know what it's about, and then I panic. And I only read the reviews the first couple of weeks to see how it's doing. Mm-hmm. And I might see, like, the star rating, but then I stop reading reviews. Because I'm bipolar, good reviews, if I read a good review, I can write, like, 3 chapters, like, in a night. Like, just whip them out, no problem. I read one bad review, and I can't write for a month.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I try not to do that anymore. So yeah, but when I get scared is when I publish. And I mean, because I feel that my editor would tell me if my book sucked. Like, I feel like she would be like, don't do this. Like, don't do this. But that has not happened yet, thankfully.
How did you go about finding an editor? I mean, did you have to go through, like, did you originally try going through, like, publishing houses or?
Yes, I didn't even say this before. My first book is in first person.
Okay.
But the second and third book is not. And that was a problem because that's not standard and that's not how they do things. Mm-hmm. And I was going to switch it. And then I realized that that's not how I wanted the story to be told. The whole point of the first book is about her finding herself and other people finding her and her point of view. But once we've heard, like, you know, her story, and I've introduced all these other characters, I wanted to show other points of views. So I did it for the second and third book. I feel that it flowed nicely. I did pursue an agent and publishing houses and go through the thing, and I did that for 6 months before I finally was like, if you're going to publish this book, you have to make a decision and just do it. And I joined a writers group on Facebook. I actually had contacted an author that I loved her work, Stephanie Nelson. And she brought me into this writers group. And I talked with them, and everybody was really good with doing feedback. And, you know, people will beta test. And I kind of went from there. And a lot of people are self-published in the group. And so I decided to try it. And then I did. And it worked out. So that was great. My first editor and I had some different point of views, we'll say. Mm-hmm. So the first book is actually currently at my new editor, getting reworked to be re-released as second edition.
Okay.
My current editor, I know her because I was on this webisode series called Harmelody TV. And one of the crew, Denise Head, and I love her, and we're, like, really close now. Our boys hang out. And she was telling me how much her mother loved my first book and how much she wished that she could go back over it and edit it. And when we were doing the second book, she said that she would love to, and she did, and she's edited everything ever since, and she does amazing work, and I love her, and her name is Betsy Head, and she's available. I've been told to say that. She's available. And no, she does great work. You know, her turnaround is really, really nice, and she's so detail oriented, and she gets so into the story. So it's not just is your grammar correct? Is your spelling correct? You know, it's content. It's very, very reassuring when I go to publish now, because I know that we did the best that it could be. Like, it just can't be any better than what we put out. So when I put it out now, I'm very comfortable.
Okay. So any thoughts or hopes of your first series going to, like, TV or movie?
Okay, secretly, I want to play her. Guess it's not a secret now. No, I basically, when I was writing her, I wrote her like as a version of myself, but like way better, like way more badass, you know, like really cool and like strong and just and sassy and just exactly the kind of character I would love to play. And so I always hoped one day that I'd be able to turn my books into screenplays and maybe do them. But I've had a lot of people who've read the books ask me, you know, are you thinking about like TV or filming? I've had people approach me, wondering what it would take to film it, to turn it into a film. I think that if I had, like if it got major attention and they wanted to do it without me, of course, because I know they wouldn't do that. It'd be great, but you know, I would definitely do that. I would love to see someone else take my vision, you know, and turn it into reality and like be able to see it. Like that would be amazing for me. So yeah, I would love that. That'd be awesome.
And it actually, just from your description, sounds like something that would make a really good comic book too. Have you considered that? Like, I know Laurel K. Hamilton has done that with her books. Like, it's kind of going retro from her first book is just being turned into a comic series. And just with what you're describing, I think that it sounds like it would be a really cool thing, or animated even.
That would be awesome. I'm pretty sure my boyfriend he'd actually read it. You should have seen him at Comic-Con. He was so happy to be there. No, I think that would be amazing if somebody wanted to do that. I would absolutely be all for that. That would be great. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm not like, no, it's mine. Don't touch it. Like,
everybody.
Share it, enjoy it, have fun. Like, if it was fan fiction, I'd be reading it like, what are they going to do to her? Like, I would enjoy that. Like, I think that's awesome.
All right. So any upcoming events that you're going to be at that you want to talk about?
You know what? There are not any upcoming events that I know of. Because
you have a break from the cons?
I know. My because my son's autistic, I can't travel right now because he doesn't understand why I'm not around. Mm-hmm. So like I can only do so I'm like an overnight. So like I'd be able to go to like Chicago, you know, maybe, but. So I haven't been able to sign up for anything, which I'm jealous because my girlfriend Jessica Gibson, who I love her books and her writing style. I'm just like, it's not fair. Like, she lives in California and I see her doing cons and doing events and stuff, and I'm like so jealous because I haven't found too much here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. But if I find any, I will be sure to send them your way and let you know. I would love to.
Yeah, we're not too far from you because I drove up to.
I know.
City, and we're just outside of Chicago.
That place was a zoo, a zoo of cosplay.
So yeah, maybe you guys could come down to Chicago for the next, a couple events that'll be coming next year, and bring your son. I'm sure he'd have a blast. And tell everybody your website so they can find all of your books and your, previous links to your films and such.
Yes, it is www.andreadigiglio.com. So it's andreadigiglio.com. And I spelled it because nobody wants to try to figure that out.
Okay, and that has everything on there?
And has everything on it.
That's awesome. And one more question, and I don't know why I didn't ask that. Now, you're both print and ebook, correct?
Yes, I'm currently I'm print, and then for Kindle I have ebook.
Oh, okay.
I'm not currently on Nook. Honestly, if somebody wants it for Nook, they can go to my website and ask me for it, and that's fine. Like, we'll figure it out. But I would get like one a month, and Amazon makes you do stupid things so you can give it away free once in a while. You have to be exclusive with them. So.
Gotcha.
And the first book for Kindle is free right now.
So there you go, everybody. Go get hooked on the book now. Oh, that totally rhymed, and I didn't mean for it to. That was cheesy.
It's okay. It was kind of cute.
All right. Thank you so much, Andrea, for taking this time out of your day on the weekend, nonetheless, to talk to me and tell me all about your books and everything. And I wish you luck in the future endeavors, and hopefully we will be seeing this on maybe a big screen.
That'd be awesome.
All right. And all right, everybody, thank you for joining us again. And don't forget to check out her website, which I will also have up on Fangirl Zone. And have a great day until next Fangirl Zone.